out and away we...
Bing bang!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Paddock Talk. I am Kyle.
I'm Scott.
And like we teased last week, on today's episode, we're going to be just going over a little bit of news around the paddock, but Scott, we're going to be discussing our all-time F1 dynasties.
Yes, sir. I can't wait. Me and Kyle all week have been just kind of holding it from each other to, just to get the vibe that you're going to get. Like, we're going to find out pretty much when you find out tonight on the Paddock Talk podcast. But yeah, let's get into the news. Just a couple little news breaks. And by a couple little news breaks, I mean pretty big news breaks. Everybody is leaving Red Bull, apparently. Jean-Pierre Lambasse is leaving Red Bull. Max Verstappen's longtime engineer since 2016 is leaving at the end of his contract 2027 to join McLaren. What a bombshell. Kyle, what'd you think?
Huge bombshell to me. It's not surprising that another senior employee has left Red Bull. Just looking at the track record the past 2 seasons, or ever since Horner left, I think like 10 of their senior employees have left the team. But I think Max might be the next one to go now that JP is gone. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to interject what you were saying. So since 2024, Jonathan Wheatley's left, Sergio Perez has left, Adrian Newey has left, Christian Horner has left, Helmut Marko has left. Those are some big heavy hitters in the Red Bull Racing family. With Lambasse leaving, Max Verstappen's contract ends at the end of 2028. How the mighty have fallen.
Oh, absolutely. I think Max might take a sabbatical possibly next season and then, go through the end of his contract. But just getting back to JP, him going to McLaren, I think I was watching the race video earlier and they were talking about some rumors that I had heard, and that's Stella possibly, or Andrea Stella possibly being linked to Ferrari down in the future. So McLaren might be maybe wanting JP to take over Stella's role in the near future, which might be good from his experience with Red Bull.
Yeah, from what I was looking at too on the interwebs, is he's going to take a senior kind of director job with McLaren, with the possibility of, if Stella wants to go and have other options, that he'd be next in line for the team principal job, which is, that's a hell of a pay bump going from race engineer.
Oh, to team principal? Yeah, absolutely. And it, like they talked about in the video, there's a track record of race engineers going on to be principals, so it makes sense.
Also, a little tidbit that I just looked up right now. Lambasse's first race as Max Verstappen's race engineer was in Spain 2026, and if you don't know that day, that was Max Verstappen's first ever win in Formula One when he first went to Red Bull Racing after they had demoted Daniel Kvyat to Toro Rosso. So they've been there since the very beginning.
Is it time to throw the Kvyat signal?
We have to, man. We got to make that.
We'll post the
that
Kvyat
meme,
signal.
That GIF, and we need a Batman-esque sound to that. The old Kvyat symbol.
We got to get Graham on that.
Good old producer Graham. But yeah, 71 wins together in F1, 127 podiums, 48 pole positions, 4 world championships, 211 races together. That's the end of a huge era. I know we have this year, next year with them, but the way Red Bull has been going, it just goes from the number one team, 4 straight world championships, to everybody jumping ship. Is it the Titanic? Are they jumping right before they hit the iceberg, or does Red Bull turn it around? It's just so wild, a non-race week, and we get news like this.
Yeah, I think Red Bull has hit the iceberg and people are now jumping off the ship. I think that's where they're at.
Is it now?
Yes. The lifeboats are gone. The band's playing. People are jumping.
You're just hearing everybody going, "Women and children first, women and children first."
Uh,
Lebowski, I just pictured him in the wig. Oh my god. I'm a woman.
uh,
Yes, go to the McLaren lifeboat.
that's too funny.
It also in other news, F2 calendar has revised for 2026, seeing how no Bahrain Grand Prix, no Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. F2 was supposed to be with them. Uh, Not going to happen. They've changed it. It's going to be Miami Grand Prix. We're going to have F1, F2. I'm not sure if F3 is there, and I think the Women's Academy. And now Montreal is going to have F2, and I believe the Women's Academy feeder series with F1 as well. I'm not going to lie. I like having F2 in North America. I know they're low funded teams. I know, they're trying to keep it to a strict budget, but not gonna lie, I like it. I like seeing F2 a good feeder series with F1 in North America. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I was reading the article earlier, and I didn't know it was the first time that F2 will ever race in North America. So yeah, pretty exciting. It does make sense that they would make up races for F2 just because I know their season is already short as it is. Um, and it it is kind of positive that it does show that they can make up races just for F1's sake. I don't think they'll do it for F1 just because of how more complex it is to make up a race for F1, and they're already racing at the F2 cars will be at a track where there's already an event happening. But I'm pretty excited, Scott. Like we went to the Montreal race, we didn't get to watch any of that stuff, but it'll be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, it makes me kind of wish I would have gotten tickets to go to the Montreal race because yeah, like you said, when we went, all they had, I don't think it was Porsche. It was another like touring car type thing there.
Hmm.
That was normally our let's get out of the hot sun break when they were on track. But I think it's a good thing. Maybe next year we could possibly see it happen. Like maybe be more of a continuation because I would love to see the feeder series here in the U.S. kind of traveling with F1. I know for budget sakes they like to stay in Europe, but I mean if they're going to travel to the Middle East, why not travel to the U.S. where the Americans are making their mark in open wheel racing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am very
And
excited.
one small note, I know it is Indy, but Colton Herta, just because of now schedule change, since he is Cadillac's reserve driver and test driver in F2, he is no longer running the Indy 500. So just a quick little hit. I know it's a little F1 related, but I just
And
wanted to mention that on the pod.
is that because he'll be busy with the F2 event? He's not running the Indy 500?
Yeah, they will be running. They'll probably either be finishing the feature race when the Indy 500 starts.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Because remember, this is the first year that they've run out or non-Monaco during Memorial Weekend here in the States. As long as I can remember, it's always been Monaco, Indy 500, then the Coca-Cola 600, World 600 on Labor Day Sunday. So initially, he was going to run it because they were going to have, I believe it was an off week because they weren't running in North America. So he was going to run the fourth car for Andretti in the 500. But now, since this schedule has kind of changed, he's going to be running Canada. So
Hmm. No, that's cool.
that was, yeah, that was the news for the day on that.
Hmm.
But I like it. I'm digging. I am really digging the schedule. I really now can't wait to watch the F2 run in Montreal, so I can be like, oh man, that's where I sat a couple years back, 4 years back now, isn't it?
Yeah, like you saying too, that if they continue it on next season, I wonder if they're kind of on the way to making the F2 drivers race at every weekend F1 does. Um, if they just continue to go back to Saudi Arabia and Jeddah next year, and then just add on Miami and Montreal to the calendar as well, and just keep increasing the calendar for F2.
I can't see them doing it because
No.
F2 is such it's a feeder series, so they're trying not to spend that much money. They only run a 14 race schedule, but granted, every race they run two races. They run a sprint and feature race. So they're technically running 28 races a season, but
Mm.
they don't have F1 money. I mean, for the love of God, during their pit stops, they use impact guns with the batteries. They don't even use
Oh,
compressed air.
okay, yeah. See, I'm not unknowledgeable about F2.
Oh yeah, it's one jackman front back. It's one wheel guy
Oh
with an
my
impact
goodness.
wrench. Yes, there is no 16 mechanics around the car. It's literally like six,
I did not know
maybe
that. All
seven.
right. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so they're definitely on a beer budget when it comes to racing.
That's awesome.
Uh, but do you have anything else to add about the calendar?
No, not really, Scott. It's just exciting that they'll be moving to North America for the first time, honestly.
And like you said, I kind of hope they do. They keep it going. Uh, because heck, in a year or two, I'd kind of want to be like, hey, let's go to Montreal again. At least we
Yeah.
can watch the F2 series with F1.
Mm-hmm. I
That is
agree.
definitely a selling point. So let's get into our race teams, our dynasty teams, teams that we find that you know transform the sport of F1 into what it is. I really hope we have different teams because I think this is a nice, fun interaction, especially with the fans when we post this on all the socials. I really think we'll get some great differencing of opinions. What people consider legacy team and what people consider a big dynasty team.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're ready, you want to go
Yep.
first?
Yeah, I will. So the first team I have on my list of F1 dynasties isn't in F1 anymore, and that's going to be Team Lotus from the 60s and early 60s to early 70s. So this is a 10-year dynasty, not in the traditional sense of, 3 and 3 years, 4 and 4 years, but this team won 6 in 10 years, Scott,
Hmm.
from 1963 all the way up until 73. So they won the constructors title in 63, 65, 68, 70, 72, and 73. Some of the notable drivers from that team, Jim Clark, who won in
Yep.
63 and 65. Narrowly lost out in 64. I think Graham Hill narrowly lost out in the last race as well in 64. So close to winning three in a row there in the early 60s. Jim Clark, I think, still has the highest winning percentage among British drivers, and third highest winning percentage among all drivers. Um, what year did he die? 65, I think he died. Or where
It
was
was
it?
either 65 or 66.
Yeah, it wasn't
I
even
can
at an
actually tell you.
F1. It wasn't at an
68,
F1
I'm
event.
sorry.
68. It wasn't at an F1
Yes.
event. He collided with a tree at Hockenheim. So, and again, this dynasty of Lotus, they also had a bit of bad luck with drivers dying, which I'll get to in a little bit. But so yeah, 63, 65 they win the constructors and drivers championship. 64 they lose out, but they finish third in the constructors. 66 and 67 they finished third in the constructors as well, so still right there near the top. 68, Graham Hill wins the Drivers' Championship and they win the Constructors. 69 was just dominated by Jackie Stewart, so nothing really to talk about there. 1970, Lotus would win the Drivers and Constructors again. Jochen Rindt, I think is how you pronounce his name. Another
Yep,
Lotus
Jochen Rindt.
driver to die during the season who was posthumously named the Drivers' Championship, first ever in F1. 1971. So this was actually Lotus's first winless season out of all this, out of their 10-year dynasty. First season not to win any races, just an uncompetitive car. But the only good thing to come out of that season was their introduction of the black and gold livery. Uh,
Johnny Player Special.
yep,
French kiss.
yep. '72 and '73 they win the drivers' championship and constructors again. I believe it was Emerson Fittipaldi who won those 2 years. Yeah, so
Correct. I believe you are correct on it.
yeah,
Yep,
so
it was
just
Emerson.
yeah, really dominant throughout those 10 years. That would be their last drivers' championship and constructors, I believe, until '78. I just wanted to put in because that was Mario Andretti, who was the first U.S. world champion.
Yes, or no, he was the third, I
Third.
believe.
Damn. Latest though, right?
Um, yeah, he was the final U.S. champion, 1978.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so those were just some of the notable drivers over those seasons. Over those 10 years, Lotus, there were a lot less races back then, so they had 46 wins over those 10 years and 79 podiums. And I can't remember how many races there were when I was doing my research back then, but like 10 to 12 or something like that, like not a whole lot, or 16 maybe. But yeah, so that was my first team, Lotus of the 60s and 70s.
And you had one of the best designers ever in Colin Chapman with Lotus, who was always ahead of the curve for engineering genius. He's the one that brought ground effect into F1
Hmm.
and made those Johnny Player specials what they are, or those black and golds. Like, just such a creative genius he was with Lotus.
Okay. But yeah,
Hey, see,
Lotus.
I can add a little bit. Is that all you have for your team?
That is all I had on Lotus. Yeah, they were pretty, pretty consistent over those 10 years. Like I had mentioned, winning the constructors and or 6 times, drivers 5 times, and then finishing third most of the other seasons where they weren't just absolutely garbage. So, not the dynasty in your traditional sense, but a bit of an extended one.
Well, yours is definitely more of a dynasty than my team. I guess me and Kyle actually did something together here. I also picked a team that's no longer in F1. Eddie Jordan Racing. Not the heavy hitter of a team that you would think of when you say a dynasty, but from its inception in 1991 in F1 until 2000, I believe, 5, before they sold to Team Midland. 4 race wins, but man, those cars were so fucking sharp on the racetrack. The Killer Bee yellows of the late 90s, the Sprite color, like the blue and green in the early 90s when Schumacher drove for them that one race. Uh, but 4 race wins, all coming in the late 2000 or late 90s. I'm sorry, last in the sport for 14 years. But Eddie Jordan was your definition of an independent racer. Paid out of pocket. He didn't have team backing. He didn't have a huge financial backer to give him money to go do this. He pretty much pieced together a team with rejects from other teams. He'd get some of the best and brightest before they became the best and highest paid personnels in racing. And like I said, even in the drivers lineup, if you look at their drivers that they've had in that 14-year span, Rubens Barrichello raced for him for years. Uh, Fisichella, Jean Alesi, Michael Schumacher made his F1 debut in the Jordan at Belgium. Heinz Harald Frentzen, Ralph Schumacher, Damon Hill getting their first win in a Jordan at Spa in '98. Uh, Eddie Irvine, Nick Heifeld, Takuma Sato, Martin Brundle. The list goes on of guys who raced for that team. Some of them were up and coming, and some were kind of at the end of their careers. But he always got the best and brightest he could and stretched that dollar as far as he could. And they were always going to have an interesting party afterwards if they won or if they lost. They were the rock stars of F1 at the time. And that's why I include them in my dynasty team. When I think of F1, I think of Eddie Jordan. And I miss him to this day because he always was entertaining, even in his podcast and Formula for Success that he did with David Coulthard. Just some of the greatest stories that you could ever hear in F1.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Scott. I don't know too much about Jordan, just because that's before my time, but I do remember their sharp-looking cars just from pictures I've seen looking over F1 car liveries from the past.
Oh yeah, and like I said, those Killer Bee ones, the bright yellow ones in the late '90s were so great.
Hmm.
Uh, and I hate it because sometimes, when money was low, he had to take pay drivers like at Takuma Sato because Honda would be like, "Hey, we'll give you $20 million if you take a Japanese driver." Well, fuck, I guess I got to do it. I need the money. Thanks. It had to be a business decision.
Yeah.
Uh, it's actually funny leading up to. I remember on Formula for Success, they talked about the famous incident in the '98. It was a '98 Spa race. I don't know how familiar you are with it, Kyle.
No. I was born in 98.
Shut the fuck up, dude. I mean, I didn't watch it as a kid. I was 13 at the time. My back aches as I say that. Uh, but watch it. It's one of the most clusterfuck of a races ever. Uh, just think, rain start, a delayed race, take off, and the pouring soaked track. 12 cars get into a wreck.
I think I do.
Allosaurus.
I think I do
Oh
remember
my,
seeing clips of that. The commentator, "This is the worst start to a Formula One race I have ever seen."
that is Murray Walker at his finest saying that. Rubens Barrichello with like blood coming out of his like fire suit, like, I'm good. Let's go. Uh, but yeah, great race. That was their first ever race with Damon Hill and Ralph Schumacher. They always used to. Uh, he'd always bring that to Coulthard because uh, every time he'd bring up something about that race. Oh, don't ask Coulthard. He was in the shitter hiding from Michael after he wrecked him.
Yeah.
Because that was when Schumacher was leading. Coulthard was a lap down. And I can't remember what turn it is, like Coulthard was kind of in the racing line and Schumacher ran over him.
Hmm.
But also, too, Ralph racing for Jordan, race for Jordan, finished second. And that also race, Michael Schumacher went to Eddie Jordan and said, "Release my brother right now." And he's like, "He's got a contract with me. He can't do that." "Well, I'll buy his contract out." "Okay, thank you. You have a good day. I'll let my lawyers get in contact with yours." Like, even after finishing 1-2, getting your first win, he's still got the business savvy to cut a deal to release a Schumacher from his contract just for a little extra money.
I love it. Didn't when he sell the team too? Didn't he not include the use of the property or the factory or something like that?
Well, see, another thing too about that. Technically, Jordan still kind of was going on till a couple years ago because Team Midland bought it, and I believe they used his factory. I'm not 100% sure. And then it sold to Team Spiker, who then sold to Force India, and then Force India became Aston Martin when Lawrence Stroll bought them out of administration. But I'm pretty sure they still kept the factory. I'm not 100%. I think they kept the factory, but they ended up having to pay him rent. If that
Mm,
might be the most Eddie Jordan thing ever.
yep.
If he let them use the factory and they'd still have to pay rent even though they own the factory technically.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very, a little bit slimy, but.
A little bit, but man, like I said, a hell of a businessman. Like he would stretch that dollar for all it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I rambled on long enough. Kyle, who's your next team?
No, that's okay, Scott. So I'm going to be piggybacking right off of Lotus in 73, and I'm going to move on to Ferrari of the mid 70s from 74 to 77. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. So throughout those years, they had a total of 19 wins, 52 podiums, and 24 pole positions. Quite impressive. Some of so they had three drivers over that season. The first one, and I'm gonna say his full name just because I like saying it, Giancarlo Giuseppe Regazzoni, or Clay Regazzoni,
Clay Regazzoni.
the most Italian-sounding Swiss man ever, who actually finished second in the Drivers' Championship in '74, only with one win, but a lot of podiums that season. He would only have one win for Ferrari in '74, one in '75, and then one in '76. So one with each of the three good seasons with Ferrari. Second driver they would have over those 4 seasons was Carlos Reutemann, the Argentinian who
Reutemann.
is it
Reutemann.
Reutemann? Okay.
Yep.
The
Carlos
Argentinian,
Reutemann.
nice. Thank you, Scott.
No, you're fine.
The Argentinian who was also a politician in his home province of Santa Fe, I believe, in Argentina after his F1 career, but he signed with Ferrari in 76, only raced one race, but I'll get to that reason in a second. He would only win once in 1977 for Ferrari, and I believe that was his only win with Ferrari, but those 4 years were absolutely dominated by a man named Nicholas Lauda, or Nicky Lauda, Scott. I'm sure lots of
Niki
people have heard
Lauda,
of him.
Niki Lauda, Niki Lauda.
But yeah, absolutely dominated by Nicky Lauda those 4 seasons. 74, I think Nicky Lauda finished fourth or fifth in the Drivers' Championship, but he retired 8 of the 15 races in 74. So just a very bad string of retirements, which probably cost him the Drivers' Championship that year, and Ferrari the constructors. But Ferrari did win the constructors in 76, or 75, 76, and 77, I believe. All years Nicky Lauda won 2 Drivers' Championships, right? 75, 77. James Hunt won in 76, and that was the
Correct. That was the
year.
that of the movie Rush, where it kind of took place,
Yeah.
where Lauda wrecked at the Nürburgring, caught on fire, like burned severely, burned his body,
uh
came back 6 weeks later, and pretty much only lost because of those races he missed.
Oh yeah, I think he missed 2 or 3 races only. Reutemann only got into one race after signing that contract with Ferrari just because Niki Lauda came back so quickly. But yeah, only finished I think 2 or 3 points behind James Hunt, or 1 point behind James Hunt, in the championship that season, even after missing those races. Um, uh, where were my notes here? But yeah, just Niki Lauda, just unbelievable throughout those 3 seasons, just absolutely dominating F1. But yeah, that's all I really had on Ferrari for the mid 70s there.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
well, so it's funny because as I was getting ready to talk about my second team, uh, I picked Williams specifically from its inception until the late '90s because really that's about when they were really dominant. But Clay Regazzoni actually won Williams' first race in the British Grand Prix in '97 or '79. I'm sorry. So I was kind of giggling to myself when you were mentioning Clay Regazzoni with Ferrari, but I mean, again, created by one man, Frank Williams, the great Frank Williams, who actually that was a second team because he created Frank Williams Racing in the '60s, early '70s after. Oh my God, I can't remember one of his. That's gonna. This is really gonna kill me now. Pierce Courage
Hmm.
died, I believe, at Monaco. They ended up selling the team not too long after, and then he ended up getting back into it in '77. Won their first race in '79, but once the '80s hit, like it was clear sailing. Alan Jones won their first championship. Then KK Rosberg, Nelson Piquet in the '80s, 80, 86, 87. Then you had the year of the 2 years, or I'm sorry, 3 years of dominance with. I'm sorry, it was 2 years. Excuse me, 92, 93 with Nigel Mansell and Alain Prost in that cheater of a car with active suspension. And then 97, 98, or 90, I'm sorry, 96, 97 with Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve. They were always
Mm.
ahead of the curve with aerodynamics and engineering. Like you got Patrick Head. You had a very young Adrian Newey in the '90s with Williams. Young Ross Brawn, I believe, was with Williams then. And the driver lineup is just royalty with that team. You think, like I said, Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost, Nelson Piquet. You had, like I said, Damon Hill, Jacques Villeneuve. Um, as I'm trying to remember now, KK Rosberg, Alan Jones. Just great drivers. And they were just dominant in the '80s, like just ahead of the curve. And I wish they kind of went back to what it was, but Unfortunately, in the 2000s, they really kind of leveled off with really being good. He had a couple wins with Juan Pablo Montoya here and there, but after that in the 2000s, it just really went downhill. But like I said, when that team first started, it was all engineering and it was all putting the maximum effort for the little money. Uh, but yeah, that was my second team in Williams Racing.
Nice. I was actually considering going with that era of Williams just because of Jacques Villeneuve. I just wanted to get that Canadian champion in there.
I'm sorry, I probably should have mentioned the last Williams drivers champion was a Canadian in Jacques Villeneuve. Uh,
Jacques.
Jacques Villeneuve,
I like it,
and
Scott.
the last car really, and that was like one of the last cars Adrian Newey developed before he went to McLaren, and McLaren started their dominance.
hmm just
But
go.
who, yeah, who do you have? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, going on to my third team, Scott. Kind of going back to some names you had just mentioned. It was a team that hired Adrian Newey. He had some Adrian Newey produced cars, and that would be Red Bull. Of the, I'm gonna include 2009 in this dynasty as well, but the years from 2009 to 2013, that era of Red Bull, Adrian Newey designed car. Over those 5 years, they won 47 races. They had 102 podiums and 57 pole positions. Um, t- the two drivers they had over that season, Mark Webber, the Aussie, oi oi oi,
Mm-hmm.
nine
Oi,
wins,
oi, oi.
9 wins throughout those 5 seasons. Those are the only 9 of his career. But that era was just absolutely dominated by Sebastian Vettel, as I'm sure you can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Run.
Multi 21, Seb. Multi 21.
So Red Bull would win the drivers' championship and the constructors every single year except 2009, which I think they finished second in both, just narrowly to another man you had just mentioned, Scott Ross Brawn and Brawn GP. Their miracle season just completely derailed from Red Bull making it a 5-5 for the team and Seb, just with their miracle run in '09. Ross Brawn and Jenson Button and Brawn GP winning their championship. So you mentioned Rush during my Ferrari segment, but I'm also going to plug the Brawn GP documentary on Disney Plus. Really, really good watch by Keanu Reeves. I guess Rubens Barrichello was on that team as well, another driver you had just mentioned, but this isn't about Brawn. Back to Red Bull. So yeah, even in that, in 2011 and 2013, they were specifically really good seasons for Seb. He had 12 wins in 2011. Or sorry, no, he had 11 wins and 17 podiums and 15 poles throughout that time. Just Seb alone. 2011 season, 13 wins, 16 podiums, and 9 pole positions. It's just incredible. But yeah, just an incredible run from Red Bull over those 5 seasons. And they just had another big run of dominance. I didn't want to go with Max, I wanted to go with Seb, but yeah, that's pretty much what I had on Red Bull.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong, like, because they were definitely a huge dynasty. Yeah, in the 2010s for
hmm
sure, and even starting the 2020s. No, not bad at all. It's really strange, and like I said to all our viewers, we haven't gone over who our teams were. So I'm really surprised none of our teams were
Yeah,
overlapped.
I,
Like
I almost had that
everybody probably
Williams.
thought everybody probably thought it was like they're gonna say Ferrari, they're gonna say uh, Williams or somebody else. No, no, because my team, my third team, uh, McLaren Racing, I had mentioned them earlier. You have mentioned them briefly too, with Emerson Fittipaldi earlier. But in the 70s, it was founded in the 60s by Bruce McLaren, uh, continued on into after his death in 70. They started pulling off wins. They started pulling off championships. Like you'd mentioned, Emerson Fittipaldi won 74, 76. James Hunt in that fantastic season that the movie Rush portrayed. And then their dominance in the 80s. Jesus Christ. Their dominance in the 80s when you have drivers like Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna. What year was it where a McLaren won every race except one? Was it
Mm,
88?
is that the year
Um,
Senna didn't win the drivers' championship? It was Prost.
I think it was.
Mm, that might have been it.
Uh, yeah, because Senna won 88, Prost won 89, and then Senna I think was 90,
Mm.
91. So yeah, it was 90, 91. But yeah, also Nicky Lauda won his last drivers' championship in '84 with McLaren. Uh, but look, 84, 85, 86, 88, 89, 90, 91. That was their drivers' championships. And like I said, with the likes of Nicky Lauda and then Prost, Senna, uh, just ridiculous. And then to end the '90s with the Adrian Newey design McLaren, Mika Hakkinen 98, 99,
Yeah.
Lewis with his champion lone championship with McLaren '08, and then our most recent drivers champion in Lando Norris in 2025.
McLaren is the dynasty.
Just it really is. Like I said, two championships in the '70s. Granted, it should have been one with Fittipaldi. Hunt had no reason to win that championship, but he still won it. And then, like I said, 84, 85, like just every year besides '87, they won. I think that was when Nelson Piquet won with Williams in
Jeez,
'87. But every year from '84 to '91, they were the drivers' champion.
that's incredible.
But yeah, that's who I have for my dynasty team,
Hmm.
dynasty legacy, however you want to put it. But that's who stood out to me, and I'm surprised you didn't have them as yours. Like I'm surprised they weren't in 1 year threes.
Yeah, no, like I said, I was so close to picking that Williams team around the 90s, or when was it when Jacques Villeneuve won? I can't quite remember, but
97.
97, yeah, around my birthday, birth birth
Yeah,
year. But
year.
yeah, but yeah, so I went with Red Bull instead, just because it was a little bit closer to my time, and yeah, um, no, I had Ferrari, Lotus, and Red Bull. Those are my dynasties.
Nice, nice. I like them. They were solid,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see what kind of traction this debate generates on social media.
Yeah, people definitely need to let us know what they thought of our picks and even suggest their own. If they thought ours sucked or we should have picked other ones.
Oh yeah, please tell me mine sucked because
Mhm.
I'll give you Jordan because personally I think they're one of mine. But please tell me I was wrong with Jordan. I'll be more than happy to explain in depth on why I still like Jordan Racing as my dynasty team. But that's why we're here for the interactions and the lulls and the memes.
Oh,
Uh,
100% Scott. We need to give the people something to talk about.
exactly. Like yeah, that's what we're here for. Interactions. Just in just opinions. Like that's what's great about any sport. Period. Is everybody has their opinions about their favorite teams, and they're not technically wrong, but they're always an opinion. So I just always like hearing it and being able to have a good discussion about it, like me and you always do every week on F1.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really
But
enjoyable.
is that all you have for the week?
Yeah, that's all I had. We're just trying to kill episodes during the week. This one was pretty enjoyable. I think we'll figure something out for the next one. We don't have something decided yet, but I'm sure we'll tease it.
Oh, oh, you didn't know? Da, 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 da. It was supposed to be Bahrain Grand
Oh
Prix
yeah.
weekend next weekend. Yeah, so we're gonna watch a classic Bahrain race and kind of break it down, just like we would if it would have taken place next weekend. Uh, so I know I kind of asked last week if anybody had listened and commented. What Bahrain Grand Prix would you like us to talk about? There are so many good ones to talk about. You can even include the Secure Grand Prix from 2020 where Checo had won. Uh, it wasn't. It was the outer circle of the Bahrain track, so we'll count it. But yeah, I think the most votes on what race we talk about, we should watch it and break it down like it actually happened.
Oh yeah, that'll be awesome.
Oh, for sure.
And
Well,
these, sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. Nope.
That's like those are races I haven't seen either, so that'll be fun for me. Like obviously I know the results, but I haven't actually watched the races in depth lap by lap, so that'll be pretty enjoyable for me.
You damn Drive to Survive, freaking
I
fanboys.
know, I know.
But anything else you'd like to add before we end the show?
No, sir.
Well, I guess that's going to do it for us, everybody. Like I said, be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where we're mostly on. Be sure to uh, listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube as well. Be sure to subscribe, follow, download, all that stuff. The better our numbers, the better the production quality gets. Like I said, be sure to interact with us on Facebook and Instagram. We love talking F1, and we like to have free spirited conversations with everybody. So be sure to interact, follow us, share everything you can. The more interactions, the more we're going to be on. So uh, I've had a blast talking about our little fantasy teams and our quick or dynasty teams, and just a quick notes and of the week. Thank you for listening to Paddock Talk podcast. As always, I've been Scott.
I've been Kyle.
We'll see you next week with a classic review of
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to Paddock Talk. Don't forget to like and share the episode and check out Paddock Talk on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Discord.